All right, what we're going to be starting today is ratios and rates. This is topic 10 and 11. We'll start with ratios. Raise your hand if you've ever heard of a ratio before. All right, awesome. So what I want you to do is talk to your neighbor. And what is a ratio, and maybe what is an example of a ratio? What do you think a ratio is? Or maybe what is an example? Jack?
A ratio is a statement of how two numbers compare.
Wow, what a perfect definition. Nice. A ratio is a statement of how two numbers compare. Perfect. So in that first open spot in your guided notes under part 1, it is a ratio. What are some examples of a ratio? Caitlin? 4 to 5. The number 4, write out 2, 5. Owen? 63 to 74. Can you give me an example? Those are two numbers comparing each other, but we need to have, what does 63 represent? What does 74 represent? Do you have anything or not? It's okay if you don't. Okay? Jack?
For example, there are 20 roses and every 23 bouquets.
There we go. So we have 20 roses and 23 bouquets. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, we'll practice some more in a minute. But in your guided notes, we have 4:3, 4:5, 4:2:5, and 4/5. Those are the 3 ways that we write ratios. So, Owen, yours was your 63 to 74 is a ratio, but what we need to work on, what we're going to talk about is comparing them. What does 63 represent? What does 74 represent? An example could be 63 pigs to 74 cows. All right, that's a defined ratio. So, let's look at this one up here. All right, so we have 4 to 5. What do you think we are comparing here? Or this says 4 to 5. There up here is 4 to 3. What are we comparing? Jordan?
The number of squares, the number of circles.
Good. So 4 to 3, the number of squares, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, the number of circles, 1, 2, 3. 4, 2, 3. Okay. Questions on that? Good? Okay. Go to the next slide. All right. I want you to, we're going to look at your guided notes. Okay? Your guided notes say, write 2 different ratios to compare the number of headphones to the number of portable music players. Okay? Listen to that. Read that. The number of headphones to the number of portable music players. Up here on the screen it says, write 2 different ratios to compare the number of headphones and the number of portable music players. What do you notice is different? Caden? And, not of. And is up here, and on your paper it says, Emery? 2. That's what I'm looking for, the difference. There isn't of. But what I'm looking for is on the screen it says and, on your paper it says 2. When you use the word to, that is telling you what order you need to write it in. So on your paper, write two different ratios to compare the number of headphones to the number of portable music players. Go ahead and write that ratio. If you want to talk to your neighbor, go ahead. Write it two different ways. On your paper, it's compare the number of headphones to the number of portable musical players. What did you come up with? What is the ratio? Liam? 5.6. Do we have 5 headphones here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. The 6. 6 is the number of portable musical players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6. What's another way to write it? Lila? 5 to 6. And the last way, Sam? 5 over 6. On your paper, you had to have one of those 3 ways. Based off what is up here in this problem, compare number of headphones and the number of portable musical players, I could have 5:6. I could also have 6:5. Does anyone know why? Dave?
It says this is and instead of 2.
Good, it says and. So we just comparing the two. I can compare number of portable musical players to headphones. Right? That 2 gives us, on your paper, gives us the specific order we need to do it. Okay? So when you're doing ratios, look for your word to, and it's helpful. They tell you what comes first, then what comes second. You won't see and very often. You good with that? All right. Try this one. It's not on your paper or you got notes, so just look up here. Do this for you. Zoom in. All right, so it says write the ratio of, I like to underline, number of fish, circle the 2, number of plants. Go ahead and come up with your answer. Write it on the top right of your guided notes. What would the ratio be? So what are we looking for first? Jack? Not the smaller number. It doesn't matter what number comes first. It could be bigger or it could be smaller. Something else we gotta look for. Samantha? Good, the number of fish, because number of fish to the number of plants. So the number of fish has to come first. How many fish do we have altogether? 10. Colon. Now we're looking at the number of plants. Jordan? 7. What's another way to write it? Sydney? 10 over 7, or 10 to 7. Emery? 7:10. Does this one work? Yes or no, and why? Annabella? Okay, so Annabella said no because it says the number of fish to the number of plants. She is correct. Okay, Emery, this one does not work because this is the number of plants to the number of fish. In the question, it says number of fish to number of plants. Does that make sense? Okay. Anyone else? All right, awesome job. Okay, we're going to extend this a little bit farther now. We're going to go into part 2. Okay. Has anyone ever flipped a coin and it's landed on its side before? No way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people.
You just sit there like this, and then you don't know who won. Yeah.
Flipping it like that? Okay. Well, y'all have had some crazy experiences. But when you flip a coin, it either lands on heads or tails, right? We're going to stay with that. Okay, none of these experiences that you have. So either heads or tails. All right, it says you toss a coin 12 times. You get 7 heads. Write a ratio to the number of heads to the number of tails. You may talk with your partner or the people around you to write this ratio if you would like. Here we go. It says write a ratio of the number of heads to the number of tails. If I were you, I would underline number of heads, circle the word to, underline the number of tails. You can all get these problems. The biggest mistake people make is they change the order. And it's not a true ratio if you change the order. Have to give it the way it's written. So, the first number we're looking for is the number of heads. Do we know how many heads they flipped? Maddie? Yeah. Yes. We get 7 heads. That's based off our information given to us. So 7 colon. Now we're looking for the number of tails. Is that given to us? No, it's not given to us. We need to figure it out. Caitlin, how do we figure it out?
12 minus 7.
Good. The total number of flips minus 7, the number of heads, is going to give you what? Milo? 5. That means the number of tails. Because you either get a heads or a tail. What should these 2 numbers equal? If we combine them together, they should equal, Caden? 12. All right. Questions? Comments? Concerns? All right. You're going to try this one on your own. When you have it answered, I want you to put your head down and close your eyes. I'll see if I can zoom it in a little bit here. It is on your paper. I want you to see if the answer is A, B, C, or D. Again, A is 20 to 23. B is 3 to 23. C is 3 to 20. D is 20 to 3. Raise your hand if you think the answer is 20 to 23. Raise your hand if you think the answer is 3 to 23. All right. Raise your hand if you think the answer is C, 3 to 20. Raise your hand if you think the answer is D, 20 to 3. All right, heads up. Okay, what is the ratio we are looking for? Jack.
The number of books you have read to the number of books you have read.
Good. The number of books you have not read to the number of books you have read. Okay. Number of books you have not read. Is that given to us? No. How are we going to figure it out? Sam. Good. The total number of books in the series minus the number of books you have read gives us 3. So it means we haven't read 3 of them. Colon to the number of books you have read, which is what, Jordan? 20. Okay. Number of books you have not read to the number of books you have read. The correct answer there is C. Good? Okay. Let's
go on to the next slide. We'll get through one of them. Key concept. Somewhere on your guided notes, maybe above the whole to parts. Does everyone see that? Empty space? Right here, whole to part. Up here, I want you to draw this bracelet or necklace. If you just want to draw this, like this, 3 big ones. Okay, if you just want to draw that, I'm good with it. Just draw that above the whole to part. You have 3 big beads and 4 small beads above. All right, there are 3 different types of ratios. You have a part-to-part ratio, you have a part-to-whole ratio, and you have a whole-to-part ratio. Let's go over the first one, part-to-part. That's all we can show. So, a part-to-part ratio is going to look like this. The number of small beads to the number of large beads. So under the part-to-part, draw 4 small beads and 3 large beads, and write the ratio 4:3. That's under the part-to-part, the bottom left of your guys' notes. Or you could have 3 big beads to 4 small beads, which would be this one. So a part-to-part are 2 different objects, 2 different things. What I want you to do is come up with a part-to-part ratio. Anywhere. Think of one inside this room. What is a part-to-part ratio? I'll give you about a minute to come up with that.
The number of boys in the class compared to the number of girls in the class.
Perfect. The number of boys to the number of girls. We can flip-flop that. The number of girls to the number of boys. Sam.
50 stars on the American flag compared to 6 red stripes.
Good. Number of stars on the flag to the number of red stripes. 2 separate things. Annabella. Perfect. The number of lights that are on to the number of lights that are off. You have the number of teachers in this class to the number of students. The number of people wearing glasses to the number of people who are not wearing glasses. There's all different kinds of ratios that we can come up here. The number of desks, the number of chairs, the number of open desks, the number of desks that have people in them. Okay? Do the best you can on 10-1 homework tonight. Great job today.